Hello, everyone. Welcome to Just Shelve It. I'm Jesse Arnold, and this is a Arnold siblings Shelftacular Christmas special taking place of the usual shooting the shelf that I do on Sunday night. So I've got a very special group of folks joining me this evening. My family. So we'll run this introduction from the youngest, since I'm already here, up to the oldest. So give a warm digital welcome to my family as we start with Joe. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm glad to be here.
Mike, if you're watching, please don't get mad and leave because he's wearing a Michigan hat. I don't know what sports things go for Ohio, but stuff happens. Up next is my sister Dawn.
Hi, glad
Hello,
to be here.
Dawn. And then we have, of course, Ed, the golden child.
Yes, I'm a second-time watcher, first time live in the booth with you, so thank you.
And, of course, the elder statesman of the family, Gene. And that's about all we're going to get out of him, probably. So, we've got a couple people watching over here. Thank you all for joining in tonight. I did have a special Christmas opening with pictures of us from our childhoods and everything, but for some reason that video would not play. So yeah. So hello to everyone out there. Mike, Danny, Joe. Not you, Joe. Different Joe.
I figured.
Yeah. And just so you know, everyone refers to everyone as the Shelf family. So yeah, you're now the family Shelf. Go Bucks. Joe, Ed, you guys probably know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Christmas thing?
Nope.
No, they didn't give me any Christmas presents today. I had to actually root for them.
So we've got you all here to talk about toys and Christmases past and whatnot. And since we'll just get this started off, since a lot of my viewers are into Mythic Legions, you all received a Mythic Legion figure from me this year. So why don't we start with Gene? Let's show off what you got there. Got the Templar Knight from the Reinforcements Wave. Gene, so for those of you who don't know, Gene is a history professor at a university that I went to, and he does SCA, right? Did I say that right?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
So he does all the pop and swap customizing, but for real, not just with toys.
I'm not entirely sure what that means, but if it means that I have armor that I wear and hit people with swords, then yeah, that's right.
Sure. No, the pop and swap,
Yeah,
those figures, they're designed to come apart. With the figure, we'll have Ed pull his up next. Ed got the Black Knight from the Reinforcement Wave. So you could take the black arms and the legs off of him and put them on your Crusader if you wanted to give your Crusader black armor. And let's see.
Yes, you could.
Dawn. Let's see. Where can I?
Well, that makes sense because Ed used to pull off the arms of my action figures when we were little, so it's perfect.
Absolutely.
And Dawn got the awesome Artemis Silver Cord too. So she's the only one who got like a named character because she's the sister. She gets the best.
Exactly. Oh no.
And she got a dog because Dawn, I didn't mention, Ed is a pastor and full-time prankster. Dawn works with dogs in well, you go ahead and say it. At the airport, yeah.
And in real life when she goes out on dates.
I gave up on that.
And Joe. Oh, he took it out of the box. Joe got the Deluxe Legion Builder Dwarf there, and I'm painting a head for him to go with that one because he wanted a face. So he's getting a face.
All right, Joe, now that you got the toy out of the box, remember you got to keep your pants on.
No
Well,
problem.
no, that's not true. You don't have to keep your pants on as long as you don't stand up into camera.
Well, it's
No worries.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've got Masterversal Toy Hunter coming to us all the way from the far side of Eternia tonight. Thanks for joining us, sir. And Danny has met Ed before when Ed was watching the episode with Mom a couple months ago, and he thinks the Black Knight was perfect for you. I picked the Black Knight for Ed because you like Darth Vader and the Sith characters. Joey picked the dwarf because of that awesome picture you did back in whatever grade you were in of
Junior in high school.
Hobbit animated movie with
And
creature stole.
And Joe, for everybody, Joe's only 3 feet tall, so that's why.
I'm actually the
I mean-
tallest of the 5 of us.
Yeah, Joe's the tallest. And again, I got Dawn Artemis because Artemis is badass and Dawn is a badass. So, there we go.
I'm telling Mom you said ass.
Is she? I mean, okay. So,
Mom, not
Gene,
watching?
you were just
She probably
talking
would
about
be.
what was that?
Mom, I'm surprised Mom's not on.
Mom's not feeling too
I
great.
have,
Oh, okay.
yeah, not good at all.
Yeah. So yeah, Gene. So you were just talking about Ed pulling your toys apart.
Or throwing them at hornets' nests on the back of buildings, or any number of destructive sorts of things. His were right there, but mine were the ones that he decided to use for his experimental toyology sort of stuff.
I mean, that sounds about right.
It's all true. I think there was the one little guy, I forget what his name was. We were about 5 and 6. I think it was 3 or 4 times I kept breaking his ankle or his foot, and Mom returned it 2 or 3 times and then finally just gave up.
Were you like
that was-
intentionally breaking it, or just the way you were playing with it broke?
Well, he would
I
throw
think
them.
the first time, yeah, I think the first time might have been just moving it and accidentally broke it, but then it was, we'll go with accidents.
Yeah.
Just like Joe.
So that was a
that's-
Steve Scout figure. That was a Steve Scout figure. They were out in, I don't know, about 1974. So you were closer to 8 than 4 or 5.
I thought it was in Dillsburg.
No, Franklin
Steve
Town.
Scout.
Yeah,
I thought
Steve
he was a little Boy Scout guy, but
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was a Boy Scout, Steve Scout.
awesome.
Okay. So
And
Keeping all comments to myself.
no, it's the fun of this.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Oh, okay. I mean, this is live. This is going to stay on YouTube forever. So,
Oh, great.
I may
Don't get
run
yourself-
for president someday, so I got to make sure I don't throw myself under the bus.
don't get yourself canceled because you're on my toy show. All right. So real quick, we'll start with Gene and come all the way back up to Joe. What have been like childhood favorite Christmas presents? Doesn't have to be a Christmas present, but like a childhood favorite toy.
well, the first toys I ever remember were the knights that the Marx Toy Company made. They were about 12-inch scale, and they had a series of knights and Vikings. And I think mine was Sir Gordon, the Gold Knight, and then Ed had the Silver Knight. I can't remember what his name was, but
I have no clue. But
they were made by the same company that did there was a Western series that they did, and that was much more popular. And they had many more of those action figures, but the Knights were the ones that those are the earliest toys I remember. And I remember Mom had made some cutout backgrounds for us when we were playing with those. And those are some of the earliest toys I remember. And that may be what has sort of kindled my lifelong passion for things medieval.
I was just going to ask that. So that's awesome. How about you, Ed? Childhood favorite toy, Christmas or otherwise?
yeah, I remember that one that Gene talked about because we were so close in age. We would usually get the same toy but a different color. but they were cool because they had different helmets and they had the little foot guards that would go on and like breastplate and different shields and swords. So that was pretty cool. But I liked, when I got a football or, it didn't board games. We had a lot of board games as kids growing up. So played a lot of board games.
Okay.
I know one of the favorite series we had, there was I can't remember the series, Gene probably remembers, but there was 4 or 5 of them. There was one that was a Civil War where you had little guys, you were the North and the South, and there was ones that were planes that were little dogfight, World War One, and then a ship one. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I think that was when like
They were-
I
77,
actually have those
78.
games.
They were a Milton Bradley offering in the bicentennial year. I think they came out in 75. They launched them. The Civil War one was called Battle Cry. You had one called
Skirmish was the
Skirmish.
Revolutionary War one.
Yep, Skirmish. There was a War of 1812 one. They eventually came out with one called Tank Battle.
We had Dogfight with the little mini airplanes from World War One.
Yeah.
Skirmish was the Rev War. Battle Cry, I think Gene already said, was a Civil War one. And then the naval one was from 1812, and that was broadsides.
Right.
And I have those.
About 20 years ago, Avalon Hill came out with a remake of the Battle Cry game and reimagined it, but I don't know that they ever came out with any of the others.
All right. How about you, Don?
It was actually a birthday present, but the Honey Hill Bunch. They were these little dolls, and they were like 12 of them. I still have them. They're up in a box in the attic, but I still have them. And Gene made me a tree house, tree fort. Had a piece of wood, and he made a little tree fort. Do you remember that, Gene?
Yep. No, I remember it very much. Yeah.
He even made a little trap door, and the rope hang down so that you could climb it and go through the trap door. So made it look like it had fence going all the way around the tree. So, but yeah, I'll have to
I remember that.
actually-
That was in.
That was
He
my
had
first
that on Oak Lane, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
1 or 9. So.
All right. How about you, Joe?
It's always been Legos for me. I had started off before they were even action figures. In order to put the little guy in the car, you had to separate the legs from the top and put them. They had no faces, no movable arms, no anything. So when I got the first minifigure, it was a policeman with a little bitty police car. He couldn't fit in the car, but that. But my favorite Lego gift was the original Lego castle, the yellow one with the drawbridge. I played with that forever and ever. So I think I wound up letting you have all my Legos at some point, Jess, and I'm not sure what happened to them. So
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
yeah, well, sorry.
So
to bring
the
that up.
Legos-
That was my absolute favorite one, was that Lego castle, and then all the different renditions that they came afterwards. They actually had like a catapult, and then they started developing the horses that look like horses instead of just bricks.
Mhm.
So that was my favorite
So
one.
the Legos had immovable parts. That's kind of like the way you live your life now. So you had a lot in common.
Yeah. Just like you're not saying any comments, I'm keeping mine to myself.
Did you see the remake they did of the Yellow Castle? I think it was last year. Like the much bigger deluxe version of it.
I did, yeah. I just don't have $400 to shell out for
Right.
that.
No.
Or do you have space to put it after you build it?
Yeah, I don't have. There's no place for me to put it.
You can put it in your office.
There is no space in that office.
Just burn some of those books on the shelf.
I'm not burning any of my Irish stuff. Sorry,
No, the dissertations.
those aren't mine.
Like the students.
So
Why do you have to have them in your
this
office?
escalated quickly. Now we're book burning.
Yeah, notice it's the
What kind of
professor who
fascist
suggested
are you?
that.
15 minutes
You guys
in.
watch
All
the
right.
World Cup today,
Well, this
too.
has been a great Christmas special. It'll probably be the last
If you
one.
read those things, you'd want to burn them too.
Joe in the chat was suggesting maybe the Western figures were called Johnny West. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that was them.
Okay. Cool. And I guess I'll take a run at that as well. Star Wars stuff as a kid, I just, whenever there was a Star Wars gift under the tree, I mean, I guess it depended on the year. He-Man was everything was my favorite. It just depended on what was in front of me at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Joe
I
says
remember.
Go ahead, Ed.
No, I was gonna say I remember your He-Man figures, then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think you're right. There was a lot that you were drawn to and had a lot of cool things that went along with it. Gene and I, when Star Wars first came out, we got into the figures, but I don't think they were necessarily big Christmas gifts. I think a lot of it we bought a lot of the figures ourselves. And then we may have gotten, I think Gene got a few more. I can't remember if the Millennium Falcon or the TIE Fighter. We may have gotten those at Christmas.
Yeah, Millennium Falcon
Right.
was mine.
Oh, was it? I remember because Mom colored the top in.
Yeah.
That was
to make it
that
look
was a
more
couple years
realistic.
later. We didn't like, so when Star Wars came out, it took Mom and Dad several months before they were comfortable with letting us see it. And then I think it was the summer after that they came out with the figures, and we started buying those. And so that first year, I got a land speeder, Ed got the TIE Fighter, and Joe got the X-Wing.
Yep.
And then I think it was the next year that Joe got the Millennium Falcon.
Yep. And I remember we older Gene Ed, you can fill in the details, but we all saved up cereal box tops to send off for Boba Fett. And I think we all wound up getting one. And just before they released it, they glued the little rocket thing in the back because kids were choking on things. So
It was supposed to launch out of its backpack.
yeah,
like
it was supposed to
missile.
launch.
And when we originally put in our box tops, we were supposed to get that. By the time we got it, it was waxed in or melted in and was not movable. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and it took them almost a year to follow through on that because they had to do a separate production run.
Yeah.
To recreate them. Yeah.
Now Jesse and I also sent off when Return of the Jedi came out. We sent off once again through, was it Kenner and like General Mills or something, whatever they had. We sent off for the Emperor action figure, and I've searched for mine. It's here in the house, but it's still wrapped in the plastic, and I have it in the little box. I've never taken it out, and I still have the little action figure booklet that you could see what was coming next with that. So I wanted
to take it out. You can't take it out, or he'll respawn.
Yeah. Well,
somehow the Emperor returned.
Yeah, but I still have that.
But Joe, you talked about Legos. It wasn't Legos for you. Your first toys were really those Fisher Price sets, and you had a Fisher Price castle.
Oh, that's right, Ed. You actually have that castle with the little knight and like the pink dragon, and so
sure.
And the staircase opened up, and there was a secret room, and there was a trapdoor.
Yeah.
There was a Robin Hood character, and a king and a queen, and
a prince and princess, the Silver Knight,
and a horse with a little.
It had the little white, little thing that you could sit in. Yeah.
Because you had the village also, and the airport.
It had the town village as well.
Yep.
I had the airport.
Oh, that's right.
I had the barn
with the hot stewardess. With the hot stewardess, that little blonde.
If you say so. And I should have brought him. I didn't think about it, but we had the Fisher Price character, Pothead.
Yep. Yes.
So little red body,
not the Colorado Canada
little yellow
pothead, but
little yellow
on top of his head,
saucepan on his head. So yeah, a little bit of a.
We should recreate him and sell T-shirts.
A little bit of joke from the Fisher Price people.
Tank corn, dope.
But yeah, we had I also had the Fisher Price, the little town that would open up and have the little bridge.
Yeah, it was like a big
sections.
Yeah.
And
it had the brothel on the end, and then the barber shop, the supermarket.
Yeah.
No, I think that was yours, Ed.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, can we type in the comments here, or are we able to interact with these people?
You can.
Like when I was watching. Where? Where do I go to type?
On the keyboard, Ed, on the keyboard.
No, it says private chat, and they can't see those. But where
No,
it says
you have to go
comments, it
to-
doesn't give me a.
You have to go to regular comments, not private chat.
Oh, there, I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but where do I type at?
at the
It's
bottom.
not giving me a space bar. It's not
Are you on a
showing
phone
anything.
or a computer?
I'm on a computer. Oh, somebody
Yeah.
told me I'm banned.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, you're going to get a River Swift crate straight in the butt.
Real quick, Curtis said he had an empty Star Wars clamshell that he would put his Han and fill it with water and put in the freezer to make his own carbonite.
Oh,
That's
that's
a cool
genius. I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We never did that. I think we
Nope.
launched some things from the third floor attic before, but I don't think we ever
Yeah,
carbonated
soda
anybody.
bottles. You guys did soda
Yeah, when they-
bottles.
And probably some of Gene's action figures tied to the soda
I was just going to
bottles.
say, it sounds like you launched anything you could get your hands on.
Well,
No,
not
and
launch,
that
just
he had a
drop.
basket, and the basket
We had-
went down the queen.
We did a from the third floor on Oak Lane. We did a like a zip line for the GI Joes and let them,
Yep.
Going out over the driveway, but we
Yeah.
would drop things down on that patio too.
Yeah, you
That
did
was
the
a soda
When
bottle.
the
Yeah.
when the plastic bottles came out and said, "Hey, it's not breakable," we were like, "Oh, let's try this out. Let's drop it from a third floor window and see."
So I'm not
think
the
after
only one
about
that
8
sees
times it broke.
Unbreakable and wants to challenge that.
No, Jess,
Yeah.
you're not the only one.
But it
Mom
Speaking
and
is
of
Dad
great.
did too. That's
Unbreakable.
how we have you.
I've told this
I still
story on the
can't
show a
type
couple
comments.
times, Dawn. You were walking me home from, it must have been kindergarten or first grade, and I was carrying a He-Man horse, the Night Stalker, the bad guy, like robotic horse. And you asked if I wanted you to carry it for me. And I was like, no, or I think I said yes. I was like, just don't drop it. I don't want it to break or something like that, as a, kindergartner would say. And you're like, no, it won't break. And I took it from you and I picked it up over my head and just threw it on the ground and it broke into pieces. And I was just like, see, it broke. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
It was right as we were coming down, what was that, Colgate Drive, right up, the last couple of houses before we crossed the street. And yeah, it was just me being way too literal.
Sounds about
Mom
right.
always said you're about as dumb as a box of rocks.
Mom never said that, but she's not wrong.
She's told me.
Did anyone use a propane PVC pipe figure launcher?
No, but I've smoked things through one of those before.
Don't give him any ideas.
Oh, gosh.
He's got the internet now. His ideas are limitless.
And Ed
But-
was worried about this being permanent.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, come
I know,
on.
'cause
That would help me get voted if I admit that. That would help me get elected in.
Being, and I don't not trying to say this as a insult, but like being significantly younger, you guys were, up walking around doing stuff well before I was born. So the first couple years I was around, I couldn't do much, obviously.
No.
So you guys did all sorts of stuff. I know Joe has a favorite story about playing Mexican cowboys in the yard or something.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Argentine Cowboys.
I'm
Yeah.
so
Before
sorry.
we get there,
Professor,
let's
tell
Ladies
the
and
answer
gentlemen,
this
the
story.
question.
professor.
Let's answer the question for Dan here. No, we weren't into explosives. I don't know if we were banned from them completely, but we never got into the firecrackers and
No,
80s
yeah.
type
That's
stuff. We had some friends that did, but we never got into that.
no, that's I think that's a legacy of Dad having been a police officer and having, family members who are firefighters and stuff. We just
Yeah, it just wasn't something that we ever
now catapults
played around with.
I made
Or,
catapults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, hand-to-hand combat weapons, yes, but
Yes,
firearms
remember when I
and
made the
explosives,
plywood
no.
swords?
Yes. But let's go back to the story
And the
with Joe being a
slingshots.
cow and told to run through the yard and say moo.
Yeah, Gene, I'll let you tell that story.
No, you tell it better as long as you get the geography right.
We were in the yard. What part of the geography else do I have to say?
Argentina.
Argentina, not Mexico,
It's a huge yard.
especially today.
That was my fault. I said it wrong.
Well, it's Gaucho. That's all I remember. The
Yes.
Gaucho.
Hey,
So,
that's racist. Get it
Right. The
right.
Marx Brothers?
no, not Groucho.
All right. So I had made a pair of bolos out of tennis balls and some like
Clothesline.
laundry clothesline. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it did.
I'd taken them out and, threw them at the tree a couple times. They seemed to work. So not having any cows handy, I decided to ask Joe if he wanted to play Gaucho. And go ahead, Joe.
So I say, what's Gaucho? I mean, keep in mind, I was pleasantly minding my own business, probably playing with Lego or doing something else, playing Atari. So let's go outside and play Gaucho. Yeah, what's that? Younger brother trusting his older brother. Enough said there, but
First mistake.
Mistake number one.
Yeah, that's what I said. But Ed, I'll fill in the blank because we got Gene back when we were playing Blind Man's Bluff.
No. Finish your story.
I'm going to.
The cow in Argentina.
I'm going to. So Gene says, "Let's play Gaucho." I was like, "Okay, what's that?" Just go out in the yard and just moo. I was like, "What?" So moo. So I'm running. He said, "No, moo louder." So I'm running around, moo. And next thing I know, I'm flat on my face in the yard. His Argentine lasso worked, tied right around my ankles, and I go face first into the yard.
So, in all fairness, I wasn't entirely sure that these things were actually going to work. All right. And I think it's safe to say that these are idiot proof because I took Joe down the first time I threw him at a moving target.
Yeah. And
and let's just, we got to paint this picture. Your older brother tells you to run around the yard and say moo, and he actually does it. And to Gene's credit, these things worked magnificently. He went down, boom, hard. One of the greatest moments of my life.
I didn't know you were there.
I've been married and had 4 kids and traveled around the world. Still one of my greatest moments.
Yeah, well, we got Gene back. We were playing Blind Man's Bluff. And I don't know about Dawn because Dawn was with us. It was me, Dawn, Gene, and Ed. And we're playing Blind Man's Bluff. And Gene was the one who would keep his eyes closed even with the blindfold on. I don't know. I know Ed, maybe I would try to look down the bottom underneath the blindfold to see where it was going. So Ed and I were going, leading Gene, around the yard. But at the particular house that we lived in, there was a hill in the front of the house, but there was a slight
about a 45-degree slope.
Yeah, there was a planter there right in the middle that was connected with the top of the yard, so you could go out on it a little bit. So we led Gene right off the middle of that, and he did Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, step of faith, except there was nothing there. So he rolled down the hill. Ed and I went running around, pulled a ladder out of the garage, climbed up on the roof of the house, and pulled the ladder up after us. I don't know how we got down. I don't know how long Gene stayed mad at us. He probably still is.
Oh, he was. No, that was, in hindsight, he could have broke his neck. That was.
It was like a 3-foot drop.
That happened.
It was,
Yeah,
Is
it
that
was.
This is
the
what
actual
happens.
front yard or the is that
Great.
Cedar Cliff Drive?
Yeah, it was Cedar Cliff
It was
Drive.
the actual
It was
front
a
yard going
3-foot
down towards.
The planter was, Dawn points out, the planter was 3 foot tall. But once I took a step out and launched myself,
It was 6 to 9 feet.
I fell a lot further than 3 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And see, this is what happens when you grow up poor and you ate the government cheese. We were sent outside to play. And so the few collectibles we had, I'd already broken them all. So we had to try to break Gene.
Collectibles. We didn't have collectibles back then. We had toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
Back then they were
I remember one of my favorite pranks that got played on me because it's a fun story. It was traumatic at the time, but Joe, his buddies, it was still at Cedar Cliff Drive. So I had to be like 4 or 5 years old. They're like, "Hey, Jesse, we're going to play Worm." I'm like, "Okay." Because the big kids wanted me to play with them. I was all in. Like you said, first mistake. They're like, "Crawl head
Mistake
first."
number 2. When the big kids ask you to play with them, you always say no. Same thing goes with priests. Just saying.
Crawl head first into the sleeping bag. Okay. Dragged me down 2.5 flights of stairs, took me to the darkest corner of the basement in the laundry room, which terrified me.
It was a split level house. The staircases were only half staircases.
No. At Cedar Cliff
he
Drive,
has
there
a
were
point.
two full staircases and one half staircase.
They were
Okay, I
all
don't
half.
remember that. I
Cedar
really
Cliff
don't remember
Drive,
that.
the
Really?
Joe, you don't
staircase
remember
to the-
taking your brother to the rape basement and let your friends have their way with him in a sleeping bag?
That's
Come
a
on.
bridge too far, Ed. That's a bridge too far.
I forgot to put a spoiler
Good
a
movie.
warning at the beginning
Good
of the
movie.
show that half of the stories told about me will probably be either straight out lies or at least largely exaggerated.
Well, Jess, I honestly don't remember doing that. But for
I
what
mean,
it's
maybe
worth,
you weren't there, but it
remember
was your
doing it.
friends that got me to do it.
well, possible. I remember Ed shooting the BB gun in the house right through the the Rice Krispies box. He killed Snap right through the neck and broke the two bowls behind it.
I did. And I
he
blamed
did
you
that
because you took the
because-
gun.
He did that because my friend and I were shooting at a Domino's box in the oncoming traffic. So there, there's
Yeah,
no
they were
point
shooting at
in-
cars out in this corner of the lot. Yeah. Needless to say, we were not the brightest bunch growing up, but somehow we've survived.
so far.
I mean,
Well, yeah, up till now.
Dawn, how about you?
Yeah,
Do you have
playing
any
outside was the best.
outside adventure
Well,
memories?
That house, yeah, we had the tree that had the chain through it. Do you remember that, Gene and Ed?
On Oak Lane?
Yeah, no, on Cedar Cliff Drive.
Yes. The one further out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had them convinced that, yeah, I won't even go there. I went back to the Civil War. There are
Yeah,
all
we
kinds
said
of
that somebody was lynched out there.
Oh God!
Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't far from Gettysburg, so I mean,
Yeah. No, we weren't. We were very close to Gettysburg, but yeah. No.
Jess, do you need
Which
to put
just
any
for-
further disclaimers before we keep going?
Nah.
Just for historical facts, guys, Gettysburg was where the battle was fought. It's not the world famous site of lynchings going on. Just to clear that up.
True. Yes. True.
I was going to say, because we were real close to the creek there. So going down to the creek was always fun.
Mhm.
And I know, Dawn, we filmed your one
Yeah,
class project down there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gene would
You guys
threaten to
have-
hang me by my toenails from the chimney. Once. As far as I know, that was only one time.
I remember
Did he
doing,
actually did it or threatened?
No, he threatened. Mom and Dad were going out on a date or something. Gene was in charge, and he told me to behave, or he'd hang me by my toes from the chimney and shove bamboo under my fingernails.
Sounds like Gene.
Oh, that was his Vietnam era.
Yeah. At like what, 16?
So
remember-
were mom and dad going out on dates with
You'd
other
only
people
been
or each
2.
other? That might explain a lot.
Huh?
Were
Ed.
dad and mom going on dates with each other or other people? Because that could explain a lot of my
It
childhood.
wasn't the 70s anymore, so I don't know.
Oh, it didn't stop at the end of the 70s. Come on. It was
Sure
the
it did.
80s. Things
And
were
her
fueled
TV
and
was
energized
like
and ready to
this
go.
big,
Yeah.
So it's not like we sat downstairs and watched TV. I mean, our TV was what, 12 by 12?
well, do you
Maybe
remember
Seemed like
20 by 20.
in Oak Lane, we had the two TV sets. We had one that actually had the picture and the other one that sat on top that had the sound, and we had to turn them both. We had to make sure they were on the right.
Would that be like
That's not
upstairs in
true.
Yes, it
That's
is.
not true. No,
It
it
is
isn't.
No, Ed, it is true.
Not.
It is true. For a couple
That-
months,
that's
for a couple of months, we
something,
had
yeah.
the TV was on the fritz, and so yeah.
We would turn one on and watch it, and the sound came out of the other one.
Yes,
Yeah, for a short time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
it was in the basement of Oak Lane.
We were ghetto before it was cool.
Okay. There's a huge difference between me and you guys in many things, but specifically, especially Ed and Gene, and
Homo
somewhat
sapien?
Joe. What? Sports. Like how did sports skip me? Like how did you
Well,
guys
you
get
played
into
baseball
like,
for a little bit.
I was on a little league team. I don't know if I would say I played
No.
baseball.
Ed tried to use you for a basketball, and you didn't bounce. So
You're not a bumble. Bumbles bounce. You don't bounce. No, here's how I got into it. I talked about this on Sunday a couple months ago. Gene was always 14 months older than me. We were about the same height, but because where Gene's birthday fell, he got to play. Now you're like 2 years older. So he's almost 60. I'm still in my mid 50s. Gene got to play football and baseball, and I would show up at the field and like hit the tackling dummies when they were done or be the bat boy. So Gene playing sports helped fuel my love for sports, Dad's love for sports, and his stories of playing, on a championship football team in high school fueled me. I think like a lot of people, they want to do what their dad did. At least the good things, hopefully. So that's where I got mine. And then I just stuck with it a lot more. And then a lot of my collectibles and the things that I stayed nerdy about were more in the sports realm than other things. But
Baseball
it was Gene playing that really drove me to want to play.
And I everything cut out here for me second, so I missed the beginning of that. Gene, what got you into doing sports? Was it because of Dad or just the thing to do in high school?
It was the early 70s. I mean, it's just what you did. I mean, Dad.
In the spring, you signed your kid up for baseball.
Yeah.
In the fall, you signed them up for football, and in the winter, you either wrestled or played basketball, and
yeah,
that's what we did.
And Boy Scouts.
Right. And there were always in Scouts. There were always badges and things you could earn for participating in athletics too. So I mean, they overlapped a little bit, but yeah, I mean, there was never. I think Dad probably just said, "Hey, you want to play baseball?" And I said, "Okay." And so, I was on the team. And
okay,
yeah.
And Don, you
same with football. The same with football, and I was like the smallest kid on the team.
You played field hockey, right, Don?
I did, and I played softball.
Okay.
But I was a catcher because I wanted to be like Ed, because Ed's a golden child.
You're supposed to cue the music when I do that, Jess. You're supposed to cue the music.
I don't have music. This is not. Look,
I told you. I have to have theme music. It's like walk-up music. If you're playing baseball, I need my own music when I talk.
You can't claim you told me when it's a conversation you had in your own head.
I can't work with these conditions. This is freaking ridiculous. I want my government cheese that you promised me. And no, Dawn played. She was a stick chick in high school, and I remember playing softball on the New Cumberland teams. And actually, I have a picture. You cheered one year when I played football.
Yeah, you were.
It was kind of like an impromptu cheer team on the Packers, the New Cumberland Packers. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but we played outside. We played kickball until the streetlights came on. That's what we did.
Yep.
I was always put on little league teams, but I stunk.
Yeah, you had to be better than me because I'm pretty sure I sat down in center field and just looked at dandelions, and the only hit I ever got was not a swing I should have made.
The only hits I ever made is when the coach pitched before we actually played the game. I'd always wait to get walked, and then I'd get struck out, and I'd go sit on the bench. I stunk.
I'm pretty sure Mom cheated when she conceived both of you.
The postman. Oh, wait. Joey was the milkman because we got milk delivered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Milk babies.
Lincolnbrook Farms milk box out in front of the door.
I guess that would have been Jesse because I was at Oak Lane.
Joe, Mike is jealous of your Falcon.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Michael, but I have no idea where that is. I wish I still had it.
I have pieces of it on a different one. Yeah. I don't know where the main body is.
No,
it might be in Dad's storage unit.
Well, that's possible.
Hey, but that thing, like the Toy Story movies, that thing got played with well. We played with that thing a lot. In the winter, that thing got a lot of activity.
The stickers that you put on it were probably gone within the first year and a half just because of constant us playing with it all the time.
Yeah. And I got to confess, Darth Vader made Darth Vader may have gotten down and dirty with Leia because that was before he knew it was his, kid. I'm just saying
Daughter.
it could have happened somewhere on the starboard side of the Millennium Falcon. It definitely happened.
That picture that you have of Mom right there stringing popcorn.
Mhm.
We strung popcorn at Oak Lane. That's not Oak Lane.
Yep.
That
I remember
house.
doing that. And I snuck a piece and it was the nastiest tasting popcorn
Oh
ever.
yeah, that was not. That came in a special like cellophane bag. That was not
It was a pink.
edible.
That wasn't
popcorn.
edible, right, Gene?
was
Yeah, I
pink.
was
That
talking
was
about that
pink.
with somebody the other day.
Well, that might explain a
Asking them
lot.
if they still strung popcorn. Now,
But we used
Gene,
to
is that New
wrap it
Jersey or
in
is
the
that
tin
after we
can.
moved to Pennsylvania?
So
in the tin cans every year, and we used it every year. We
Yep.
wrapped
Until
it.
the rats got it or the mice got it.
nice. Yeah, I'm thinking that's Franklintown, Ed, but I'm not 100% sure. That's
And Joey's there.
Franklintown.
Oh, there's
This is
Joey.
the house that has
Yeah,
the big
that's-
barn behind it.
Had the
Now,
big what?
It
I
says
thought that was still-
1970 though, but that doesn't.
No, that's before. That's the first. That's his first Christmas. That's still in Dillsburg. That's the street across. That's the house across the street from the car, the one the car ran through.
Go back to
I
the
remember
other
that.
picture though.
That's the kitchen there. That's still Dillsburg.
Oh,
That's not
that is.
Franklintown.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
that's not
that is.
Franklintown?
No, that's Dillsburg.
See, we had
Okay.
matching bathrobes that we have,
Is that,
matching
Matching
pajamas,
I mean,
Yeah,
Joey
probably
would have
matching
been
pajamas.
2 weeks, 3 weeks old.
And-
3 weeks old.
Our
That
Nana
little
probably
lump is
crocheted the
me.
vest that Mom has on. Oh, Gene, there's the go back one. That red ornament, the tree, the rocking tree or horse.
Yeah.
Oh, the horse at the top.
At the
Uh-huh.
top.
Yep.
We had that.
I remember
for the
that.
longest time.
I'm looking on that tree. I don't see General Potholder, but I've got him on
I
my
got
tree
your-
behind me.
I've got
Yeah,
your picture of it.
somehow that ended up with me, and I gave that to you a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
See, there's a castle with little knights.
Ed,
Yep.
what are you playing with there? What is it?
It's a gold castle. There was these black knights and red knights, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see it.
And
Those were.
I think
those
Gene
were,
and I,
They were
they're
like
little
the
ones.
little
They're not the ones
plastic
Gene
army
and I were
men.
talking about.
Yeah. Those are.
Yeah.
These are like the little plastic army men.
Ed, what's the thing in the background behind your head?
It's a
Oh, that over
stereo.
there is a Buddha. But the big thing, that's a stereo that one of Dad's brothers made.
Buddha.
No, not the stereo, the weird Statue of Liberty
The
looking
black-
thing.
It's a Buddha. Mom had
Yes,
a Buddha. It
that's
was
a
this big
chair.
fat black Buddha.
That's a chair.
And you'd
Ed.
rub its belly when you went by. And
Ed,
it
that's
gave
a-
you
Was that
fertility.
is that little chair with the drawer in it?
It's a
Yes,
chair.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it in my mudroom.
But that stereo, Mom played music on it forever until it went in the
Mhm,
basement. She
mhm.
got a prettier one, and we
And-
got that one.
This
Here's
is
this
when Dad started in adult
weird,
films and had that mustache.
Italian guy hanging out with us.
No, that's the adult film star, Potsy.
Hey, it's me,
He
Mario.
made several. He made several hits in the 70s. Potsy the cop. Potsy the cop returns.
Can you mute his mic?
I can.
This one's Franklintown.
I remember that ginormous rug.
Just love how brown the 70s
Yes.
were.
Mom had that rug forever.
We had that little angel forever.
Oh,
That guy
Ed.
did. That guy did 10 to 15.
after
No,
this
that was
picture.
another friend of Mom and Dad's. That's I think that's Lloyd Wagner.
Oh, you're right. I remember Mom and
Ed
Dad
looks
saying
so
that. Yep.
happy
Now
in that
that's
picture.
definitely Franklintown.
Gene
Oh, yeah,
looks like
not
he
at all.
photobombed the picture. I still have that stocking. Oh, there's Dawn.
Yep. That would have been bicentennial year, 1976.
That's Oak Lane then, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that tree was huge. Look how big it is.
That was a big tree.
It was
It was
that,
a
it took
huge
up the
tree.
that whole room then. That's the room that we had the fireplace in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We cut a hole
That
in
was a good
the
year. I got a football.
we cut a hole in the second floor so the tree would go through into the
Yep. That's the same house in Oak
Yep.
Lane.
That was a great
Yeah.
house.
Oh.
Oh, Jess just skipped.
Yeah, there it is with the fro.
There's
Woohoo!
Jess.
Yeah, that's in New Jersey.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
the That's the year Ed started at one school
Yeah,
and then
that is
didn't like
great.
it and then decided to go to another one so he could get the extra week of Christmas.
Darn right. That's right after we moved to New Jersey. We moved
Yep.
back
Yeah.
to Rutherford that December. I went to St. Mary's for like 2 weeks, had 3 weeks off for Christmas, a week longer than public school, and then went to public school when they were about to have their winter break, and we had off for the 1980 Olympics for the
Yep.
first week of the Olympics.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And the Steelers were in the Super Bowl that year.
Yep.
I
They beat
know.
the Rams.
I know I have the albums, but I just always love how Mom wrote in these, like just her handwriting. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
Curtis, what do you mean I have a sick baby haircut?
You
I don't know what that means.
You look like a
You
sick baby.
You didn't have a haircut. Yeah, until you were like a year.
I think that's the year. That's the year Joey cut his own hair.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's at Cedar Cliff.
Does it mean your
This
dad
one's
look like a
Cedar Cliff
different person in every single photograph?
Yeah, that's Cedar Cliff Drive.
That is Cedar Cliff
Look at
Drive.
that window. And you can see the
Yeah,
planter right there through the window.
Yeah, right out that window is the planter that Gene almost died off of.
Yeah,
That we
where the
launched into
stone is.
space.
No, Curtis, I know sick. I know what you mean by sick. I just,
Good times.
in reference to that specific haircut.
Okay, this is back around. There's
Oh,
got to be an
that's-
Oak Lane again.
That's Oak Lane. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I didn't get them
probably,
all
I
in
wore
the
that
exact order.
77 probably.
Yeah, I
'Cause
wore
that's
that
more than
Steelers
11.
sweatshirt out.
Yeah, because that's Joey opening up his Star Wars the
Oh yeah, that's the X-Wing.
X-wing fighter.
Yep. Look at
And
that.
there's
We all wore
there's the
bathrobes. I didn't
pink
remember that.
there's the pink popcorn.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
we
Yep.
made
The
years
episode. If
before.
I have slides, I'm using the mouse over it. No one else can see it. But yeah, in the middle of the tree there.
Because we would wrap it in the tins. Mom had the cookie tins, and we'd rewrap it and use it every year.
Yep.
That was in
Gene-
Texas.
Gene
Gene
made
made
that for
this.
Dad.
Yeah, I remember that in Texas. That's right. Did you make that in school or in the
No, just in the garage.
That's
garage?
not Cedar Cliff Drive.
No.
No, that's Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the front door at Texas. That's Cedar Cliff Drive.
This is Cedar Cliff Drive.
That's
Yeah.
your
Before it got painted blue, right?
Mhm.
Didn't it get painted like sky
Yeah, 'cause-
blue?
Mom.
Colonial-
it would be like
colonial
soldier
slate
blue.
blue.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Oh man, that Duplo thing.
Oh, is that what that green bird looking thing is?
Yeah, that bird thing. That thing was. I love that thing. Hey, Walter, thanks for joining in. Only one hat to put on it? One hat what? What are we talking about?
The bear?
Oh, to put on the, I think, no,
Yeah.
the rack, the clothes screw thing there.
There's a coat rack.
Yeah, like you had just
There's
made
a
it and
coat
you
rack,
just
hat rack.
grabbed the first thing to put on it, right?
Yeah.
I think the hat might have been a gift from Mom that year to Dad, and we just
Okay.
sort of
Yeah.
put them together.
Dad had that bathrobe.
He had
before.
that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bathrobe. He probably still has the bathrobe.
Ed with one of his sports balls.
There's the stairs we supposedly threw Jesse
Yeah.
down behind Ed.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
You didn't
Okay.
throw 'em down.
When
You
I'm
dragged
3
them
or
down
4 years
after
old,
you-
that was the only set of stairs I knew. So in my mind, that was a full set of stairs. I'm sorry.
I don't think. none of
Anytime
you
I got
guys
to play with my
basketball.
balls, I was a happy man.
Yeah, but none of you played basketball.
Ed and I played in
Yeah, I did.
Texas.
We had the hoop over the garage.
I played at Bethany Christian Academy, and then I played intramurally in college.
Yeah, we
Okay.
played in Texas for a couple
Yeah.
months too.
Yeah.
Jesse, this is the
Yeah.
year no one ate the cookies.
No, cookies were great. We always did the sugar cookies and cut them out. That was
Yeah.
always fun.
I
was
said
was
that
the
because
the-
Jesse and I made them.
No, this is always
I
one of my
mean-
favorite things we did was rolling that
Yeah.
dough and the flour all over the table and just making a mess and decorating the cookies and everything. What were the things that I think did Nana bring the little iron thing for it that was like the little roll up cone thing?
No, she would
She
make
made it.
those
Honey?
and bring them. Yeah.
Crumb
Okay.
crackers. Crumb crackers, they're called.
Yep.
Yeah, the Norwegian stuff. And she
Yeah,
made the
I make-
best cookies.
I make those. I still make those, and I make
you?
a bunch of the cookies that the Fatingman and the almond
Ah.
crescent cookies and stuff. I still make those.
Yes.
And
Oh,
the
man, I'm
the
jealous 'cause-
the Yule Kaga, which is like a
Yeah.
Norwegian fruit cake, which has more like bread in it than the fruit, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's actually good.
But look
I always
at
try
the,
to find those bakery.
the high chair.
Go ahead, Dawn.
The high chair, the youth
Oh, yeah.
chair.
Is that jeans
Gene,
or
don't
Ed's?
you still have
That's
yours?
Ed's. I still have mine. That one's Ed's.
That's right here. I got it right there.
So
Oh, he's wearing pants. Mystery
I've got
solved.
my I've
Those
got
are
my
the cool
autographed Terry Bradshaw football sitting on top of that, and the Eddie Murray baseball on top of that chair.
so.
Hey, that's the baseball we got at the game, right, Ed?
Yeah. Gene sent me. I'll have to bring it over.
Oh shoot, that's me,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
it's still in good
Yes, that's you,
shape,
Jess.
too.
I thought this was an older picture. I thought this was somebody else.
No, that's you. You're sitting in a little sled.
Yeah, the sled's what gave it away because I remember those little handbrakes on that sled that
Yeah,
never.
sleds
We-
didn't have brakes when I was your age there.
Well, I mean that
Back
one
in my day.
didn't either.
Back in my day.
I'll jump forward a few years.
Oh, that's 1992. Talk about 30 years
Look,
ago.
nutcrackers, Ed.
Yeah, I see him. And hey, look at that denim over there. Could we get any
No.
more denim on Jess if we tried?
Well, I don't know, Ed. I'm sort of not seeing the denim for the mullet.
You can't see
Oh,
Ed's
you can't
mullet.
see the mullet. You can't see my mullet there. My mullet.
What
was
are we even
glorious.
looking at? None of us are looking at the camera.
No, I don't know. It's
Ed,
possible.
Lori,
that
and
Carl
Joe are
did
looking off
something.
to one side, and I'm looking at something completely different.
You got me.
I,
This is before
I,
digital cameras.
I wasn't allowed. I didn't really get to choose my clothes. I just kind of put on whatever was given to me.
That's true, Jess.
How do you dress yourself now?
Not
Very
much better,
carefully.
but it's what I have.
Hey, it's Christy. And Lori.
No, that's Cheech. No,
And
that's
Chong.
Chong. Still one of my favorite Christmas bits, man. Santa Claus and his old lady.
Here we go, Gene.
Yep, there he is. That was my Christmas ornament from 1966.
What's his name again?
General Potholder. So apparently, when I was little, mom or dad would put a potholder on my head and have me march around the kitchen, and so that's, I guess, where the nickname came from. And so this was
Okay.
General Potholder.
Since we're talking about
I remember
nicknames, do
him.
we want to go through our nicknames?
None of us really have good nicknames that stuck.
Yeah,
Well,
none
you
of it
can.
really stuck.
Skip mine, please.
Okay.
Whose crappy tree is that? Is that real? What is that?
So when we went to Uganda, we didn't bring our artificial tree with us, and we needed a Christmas tree, so I made one.
Okay, well that's beautiful. I thought that was from our childhood. And I was like, what the heck?
So
I
they
was like,
shipped all our
I
stuff
do
over.
not remember that.
No, that was ours. We had that for 4 years in Uganda. So when they ship
that
our stuff
plywood?
over, yeah, they ship our stuff over in these big plywood crates, and so I saved them, and so I cut the tree out and made it. And if you go back to the previous picture, that's, you see the green in the back. That's, and at the top of the general's head there, he's hanging from a little pinhole in the. This is my Dr. Seuss Christmas tree.
All right, well that's ingenious. I take back my comment.
So for those watching, that my Gene was also worked for the State Department in multiple countries over the years before returning to being a professor. So yeah, he was in Uganda. You said 4 years in Uganda?
That's right. Yeah. And this is the tree topper that Alicia made our first year together. That's made out of scraps from her wedding dress, and the head is an egg. And so every once in a while that we got to replace that, but we just always put that on our tree.
That's cool.
Awesome.
And this was our Christmas meal. The last year we were in Uganda, we made, I guess that's, what do you call it? Beef Wellington with roasted root vegetables and the beautiful
that's called
setting that Alicia did. What's that?
I believe the technical term for that is pre-Yule log.
Well, we did have a Yule log, but I don't know what you're talking about.
You eat it later and it becomes poop.
Such sparkling
Family.
conversation with this group. Yeah. These are some of the decorations.
No potty words.
You just said one.
These are some of our decorations that we pull out every year. And yeah.
What?
Everybody's admiring your tree.
Curtis and everybody else who's made comments, thanks. It was fun. I made it and recycled the crates that they shipped our stuff over in. So yeah. And this was, I guess, one of my gifts our last year in Uganda.
What kind of helmet is that?
They call that one a
Fifth.
chapeau de fer. And it was used anywhere from about the 8th century up through the end of,
Last year.
armored combat.
Okay.
Who said last year?
That was Joe.
What'd Joe say? Okay, somehow I missed that.
You said it was from the 8th century up until, and you kind of paused, and Joe said last year.
Well, I still wear mine, yeah.
No, there's my stuff. There's the things that I got into collecting baseball and football cards.
Zach Jamp,
Probably have
Jack Lambert there. Underneath
Yeah.
the Steelers logo, the third row.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got one of the older cards, guy that's up in the top corner, really wasn't somebody, but it's one of the oldest cards I have. But then there's do I have I have the steel curtain down below. There's LC Greenwood, Dwight White, Mean Joe Green, missing one of them. Ernie Holmes wasn't there. But Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Andy Russell, Heinz Ward is up in there, Franco Harris a couple times, Mike Webster, Terry Bradshaw.
Go
Yeah, I probably have
Blue
close to
Jays.
50,000 baseball and football cards. There's some Yankees stuff, and then just some of the Yankees collectibles. A Roger Maris autographed sign. That's when he was swinging and hitting his 60th home run.
Nice.
Or 61st home run, I should say. Breaking the record of Babe
Yeah,
Ruth.
but back to the baseball
And that's
cards. Remember
What's
we
that?
used to go to the candy store all the time with our, we would get our allowance, and you would get the
Yeah.
baseball card. And we used the Velveeta boxes, and you keep them in it.
Yep.
And you
I
had
still
them
have
all-
I still have those Velveeta boxes with the 70s baseball cards in them. Yeah, they were a quarter then for a
Wow.
pack.
Yep.
And I would, anytime I'd find a quarter, make a quarter, earn $1, I would run down and get 4 packs, 2 pack, whatever
Yep.
it was.
Yep.
And I still have all those cards. And
I-
yes, the Steelers were thugs.
I still have
In the
all of
70s,
mine.
but-
I actually have about 6 rack packs. Remember, they'd have them on the rack, and there'd be like 1, 2, then 3 sections of cards, and they're still unopened from like the mid to late 80s.
Wow.
Ooh, Curtis is a Raiders fan. Oh my gosh. Did you see the end of that game today, Curtis?
No, that
What
was
a-
incredible.
Unfreaking believable.
Did you see that ludicrous
loved it.
display?
No, that's later. Okay, so this is there's my office. As Dawn pointed out, I borrowed somebody's books to make myself look smart. But the Funkos and the sports stuff's mine. The books, I think somebody read them. Let's see. I think there's Bob the Big Boy up in there.
Somebody
Slash Sidney Crosby, Bob Barker, and Happy Gilmore. I think
Was
down
that the
below
Stay
the
Puft
cast of
Marshmallow
Schitt's
Man?
Creek. No.
But
That's
you know,
that's the
oh,
help me, Jess, from
I don't know
Empire
which.
Strikes Back.
I don't know what we're
The-
looking
the-
at. The Wampa.
Yeah,
no, the little white guy, right?
it's the
Yeah,
Wampa from Empire Strikes Back that
Oh, okay.
tries to eat Luke.
Where
Yeah.
are you looking? Oh,
That's
down on the
him.
bottom. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bottom right.
Yeah, it's the Wampa.
But speaking of books, Nana bought us a book every year for Christmas. Every year, and then she would sign it.
Yep.
Yes.
And I remember because when we moved to New Jersey, she got me Little Women, and I still have that book upstairs.
Yep. She got me the complete unabridged tales of the Brothers Grimm. Yeah, being in fourth grade reading that, it's kind of freaky.
Like in
So
the original
some of
German?
us better books.
No, just not in the original
she-
German, but unedited, like non-Disney, more like Guillermo del Toro type stuff.
Yeah, back in the day when it was just Gene and I, we used to get the Hardy Boy books. I still have some of those original
That's
ones
cool.
from way
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
There's some. This is what Gene just gave me. He gave me this holder. That's a baseball we caught at an Orioles game that hit by Eddie Murray right there. So he sent me the
Oh,
stand
cool.
and the card. And the ball was with Joe for a long time, but then he gave it to me a few years ago. So that's my newest collection of my sports collectibles.
Awesome. Gene, I kind of steamrolled because you only had the picture of the helmet. You don't collect a lot of like toys and things, but you have collected stuff in the past. What's since Ed was just talking about like the cards and the sports stuff and the pops that he does and other people's books that someone else read. What I know you made your joke to me earlier, but like what kind of things do you collect these days?
Well, I don't know.
Collect.
My wife has just joined me. She's sort of just looking at me expectantly, but I have a collection of medieval weapons, and so like 27 different swords and a bunch of spears and axes and maces and crossbow and all sorts of stuff like that go along with the reenactment hobby.
Okay. Not to mention like the practice swords and stuff you use for the reenactment stuff.
Yeah. That doesn't count the actual sparring weapons, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of like helmets and masks and things from the different countries you've been in.
Yeah. We when we were in Africa, we collected a lot of different masks. Let's see. You see them up there on the wall.
Very nice.
And
hold on, stay there. There we go.
Hi, Alicia.
so these are
Good
from
evening, Alicia.
Howdy.
masks are from a bunch of different countries. And then next to Alicia, that's a door. There I've got some there's a shield and a hat, and then there are 3 spears in between them, one from West Africa, 2 from Uganda. And then various African art. There's a rhino. We got can you see the zebra?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then some more African weapons and spears or clubs over here. Little African figure. And then lots of different African art and knickknacks. And then in the other room, we have a collection of masks that we got when we were in Italy. Carnival masks, a couple of plague doctor masks, a dragon, a goblin, fox, a crow, a couple of neat things like that. No, I don't
Curtis,
have
what
one of
would
those
scare the
masks, Ed.
What would scare the crap out
No,
of you?
Dawn's got meat beside her head on my photo, so I want meat beside my head. So
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I can't. Yeah, see, on my screen, it's right beside your head, so I'm gonna hold this here the rest of the time. So I've got him by me as well. Keep going.
The masks would scare Kurt. They're really cool. I mean, I know when I was a kid, anything remotely primitive looking, like we'd go over to I was talking to Mom the other day about this. We'd go over to the William Penn Museum and we'd go through like the just like the what's the term? I don't remember the kind of Native Americans that lived in the area, but there was like the little wigwam or the teepee or whatever, and they just had the people standing there, like the models or the statues. Do you guys remember that at all?
Yeah.
I do.
That just them just scared me to death. So like anything even remotely like, but yeah, the stuff, all that stuff now, I'm all into
So you're
that.
saying Native Americans scare you to death, or just those
Not
wax
specifically.
figures?
It was probably more the wax figure than that now that I'm thinking about, because like the masks on the Planet of the Apes people scared me too, because they looked real but not quite real. But yeah, no, the masks, I know you had them up on the one wall at the house down in
Alexandria.
Alexandria that were really cool.
Yeah. So we've got 1, 2, I'm just counting 3, 4. It looks like we've got maybe 4 or 5 new ones since there. So yeah.
Okay. And Dawn, I know you probably don't collect a lot of stuff. You're
Not
that
really, but
kind
I
of.
got something to share that I thought you
Yeah.
guys would really appreciate. Mom gave me this to wear, I don't know, years ago. It's from Nana. It's just the little bells. And now Mackenzie,
Is it a little
my
pin?
granddaughter, like, yeah, she wears it every Christmas.
Ah,
So she said I had to share it with you guys so that you could see
Oh,
it.
that's cute. I like that.
that's cool. Tell her thank you
So it
for
went
sharing that.
from Nana to Mom to me to Tara and then to Mackenzie, who's 7 now. So
That's
cool.
awesome.
so yeah. So it's just something. And while I'm here, can we talk about Nana again?
Yeah.
Nana used to make us hats every year, knit hats. Well, she
Crocheted.
She crocheted and she'd make us a scarf. She made Ed a black and yellow one, I remember. But every year she'd color coordinate them, make us slippers. I'd wear those slippers until they fell apart. And the one year that we lived in New Jersey, she made Ed the headband that just covered your ears.
Yeah. Black
So
and
she was
yellow. Yep.
ahead of her times. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Whoop.
So
Yeah.
Nana always
The
made
worst
us
one that
every year.
the worst one she made me was I was in 5th or 6th grade and it was two-tone green and it had the matching scarf. But it was that year we were doing astronomy and a picture of Uranus looked like that. So everybody would call me Uranus. Hey, Uranus head. And
I don't think that's why.
Right. Thanks, Nana.
So
We're going
but
with
yeah,
that.
Nana made us every year. She made them for us. So yeah. But yeah.
I remember her crocheting. We still have some of the blankets and stuff that we don't keep them out, but we keep them in storage. But I don't have the black and yellow one she made for the Steelers, but we have a blue and white one that she made. So many cool things that she crocheted. And some of the doilies. Do you remember the white doilies that she would make? Finer. Was that still crocheting or was that knitting?
That was crochet.
That's shame.
Crocheting. Yeah, we have some of those that we'll put out on nicer occasions when we put out the nice china. The hard plastic ones from China.
Which
China,
happens on St. Patrick's Day, right?
Is there a T on the end? Because I don't think that's the same thing.
The T on the end of what?
Isn't Chinette the plastic ones?
Yeah. But we just like to say China. It makes us sound,
Fancy.
up and coming.
Okay. Joe, I don't have any
She
pictures
also
of it.
made. Oh, another risque thing. Nana made the garter belt that my wife wore on our wedding day.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it blue?
And then she wore a different one. It was one that was kind of lacy and it kind of hung down. And then the one that I took off that we threw was underneath that one. So Lori still has one that she kept from that day.
Wow.
Yeah. So as I was on my honeymoon, I was thinking of Nana. It was a great night.
Joe.
Yes. I can't follow that. What am I supposed to say?
Talk about your
Well, you
Legos some more.
collect Legos.
I do have Legos. I actually have the complete, well, mostly complete Lego Winter Village that they started coming out with 12 years ago. The Lego train, and there's a train station, a fire station, Santa's workshop. There's a winter cottage, a post office, a bakery, a toy shop.
Nakatomi Towers.
What's that?
Nakatomi Towers.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have that, and I'm not skilled enough with Legos to create my own with all of that. But I do leave stuff in the heating duct for what's his
John
face
McClane.
on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
John McClane?
John McClane. So for Ed changed his hat, nice hat.
Got
But
a collection of those too.
the main stuff that I collect, I have a lot of things connected to Ireland. Probably over 120 books on Ireland history and geography, and just a lot of things connected to County Cork and rugby jerseys and yeah.
You said
I think the
120?
biggest collection of stuff I have would be Irish
And
themed.
potatoes and whiskey bottles and
If you
Well,
said
I do.
120, those are rookie numbers. You got to get those numbers up.
Yeah, I do have a big collection of Irish movies and Irish music as well. Probably have almost 100 different CDs of Irish music.
With the same
so
five
does
songs. by
Boondock Saints
100
count as
different
an
CDs.
Irish movie?
It kind of does, but I don't have that one. I don't have
What
that
did you
one.
say,
I
Jen?
have, huh?
What did Jesse say?
Something dumb, I'm sure.
No, I've got. No, I don't have any Highlander movies.
There can only be one, David. There can only be one.
Wait, do you have Braveheart? Do you have Braveheart? If you have Braveheart, you've got a Highlander movie.
Kind of, yeah. I'm
No,
Braveheart.
he's talking about a different Highlander.
Yes, I know that,
With
Ed.
Sean
Keep up.
Connery.
Keep up.
Ed's on a whole different level.
100%.
Oh, one other thing that I collected growing up, and I still have all of them.
Cat
are
turds.
My Matchbox cars.
Mm.
Remember when you used to collect cat turds and you'd follow behind the cats and you'd collect each one and say it's individual, like a little snowflake. Each one's different. Remember that? And then you'd put them in your pockets.
I think that was
sorry.
you, Ed.
I think you're getting me confused with yourself.
So here we go. We had
Any
a
office
we had
fans
a
out there? Office reference. Anyone? Anyone?
Jesse does.
Panel?
He's got it.
Panel? Dwight?
I have an office, Ed. What are you talking about?
Keep up, Gene. We're not talking about office sets. Nerd.
So we had a foster kid when we were growing up, and we also had a collie. And Ricky took the collie for a walk, and Posey, the collie, left a whole lot of, shall we say, Christmas logs on the sidewalk. And when Mom
Where that
found out
yellow
about it,
would have come
Mom sent him up there with a brown paper bag to collect these deposits. And when he came back, Ed said, "Oh, Ricky, did you go to the store?" And Ricky said, "Yeah, I bought some fudge. Do you want some?" And so Ricky opens the paper bag and Ed plunges his hand into the Christmas logs.
Fudge.
And I think it was poetic justice because I think he puked all over Ricky, but hey, whatever.
Oh, good days.
Good times.
I just love the way you started that off. Is like we had a foster kid. It just sounded like that was something else the family collected.
We did.
We did.
We
We
did.
did for a while. We had about 10 of them. But the sad part was every time they'd run away and get busted, they'd be like, "Do you want to go back to the Arnold family or go to juvie?" They picked juvie. They'd rather go to juvie than stay with us.
Well, you were there. Is there any wonder?
Yeah, you see, this is why when we moved to New Cumberland, I didn't want to live with you or Joe. I said I'd rather have Ricky as a roommate. I wanted to be with the foster kids more than I wanted to be with my own brothers.
The one that hands you a bag of poop. And told you
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was fun.
well, you know,
Is that where that obsession
that part
began, or
sucked.
had that already been there?
And then there was that period where he was captured by bikers and held in a room and made to eat blood festered oatmeal. That's where he got his nickname.
Who are you talking about?
The golden
Rocky?
child here.
That's where Rocky came from?
The golden child.
What?
he's referring to Eddie Murphy's very popular movie after
The golden child.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh.
Okay.
Way before your time.
There's this little golden Buddha that would make things. He made a tin
Yes.
can into a little person that danced around, and Randall Tex Cobb, who was a professional heavyweight fighter, was in it. That's how good it was. Oh, and if any Game of Thrones fans, Father Lannister was in it.
Ah.
Curtis said, my grandma found a litter of kittens in the barn one year and went to the store to get them some cat food. She poured it down and was appalled when they pooped in it. I guess not realizing she bought litter, not cat food.
Oh no.
Curtis, thank you for sharing.
That sounds like our family.
That's where I should have put all that poop.
All right. Is there any specific?
Are we anywhere near the topic that you wanted to talk about tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's are there any traditions we had in the house that you guys have carried on, or that you don't do anymore that you miss, or something
Hearing
like
of
that?
grievances.
I missed that part.
You need the poll.
Is that when Ed would make the hat stand up?
No,
That was
when
a
they
different
used
kind of
pole
grievance.
dance.
Oh.
That was more when that was the year whenever there was flatulence going on. We had to put our
So your hat was constantly standing
I was gonna
up.
say your hat was standing up most of that Christmas.
That's why the ladies loved me.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Oh, it means whatever I want it to mean.
For
Welcome
tradition,
to my world.
Jess, to get back, we had the manger scene which I have that's actually on the bookshelf behind me that we had all growing up. And I think
You have the original one with the headless.
Yeah, here
arm?
I'll show them. Hold on, I'll show them.
And then isn't like the bottom of baby Jesus pushed in?
Yep.
And there's something wrong with one of the animals, like one of its antlers. You can see the spring sticking out of the horn of one of the bulls.
Yeah, and then we had the donkey's plastic. Yeah, so
Who made a Seinfeld reference?
that was me.
The
Oh.
airing
Yeah,
of
he-
grievances.
The airing of grievances,
Oh,
the Festivus for the rest of
Yep.
us.
I
All
try
right,
to
Jess.
only watch
Ed,
good
Ed
shows.
doing a pole dance on the Festivus pole. Yeah.
Just a screenshot. So we had that
I made money.
the manger scene, and Mom would hide. This was the baby Jesus figure. They're from. Still have the tag on the bottom. Like Mom bought them for Nana from Woolworth. She saved up money, and they were like 29 cents a piece. But the little infant Jesus, this is what I was saying. It's got the hole stuck out.
Yeah.
So I guess they were smuggling.
That's where
other
he
things
stashed
in.
the gold and frankincense.
No, that's where Ed thought it was chocolate and tried to eat it.
Well, then we've got one of the
Sensing a
three
theme here.
kings, and Jess, I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, I'm being bad. He was decapitated, and Mom glued his head back on.
That looks like the scar from the Highlander. There you go. Who made the Highlander reference over there? Curtis.
That's
Carlo,
my mom's favorite part.
John, Donner,
See.
Blitzen, whichever one of you guys. See?
You got that one,
He's
but
the
then
only
you've
one.
got. They also did it to this night too. So I guess the only one of the three kings is the true. There can be only one. So he decapitated the other two.
There you go.
I always thought he was holding a football for like the field kick goal.
This
thing.
guy.
Yeah.
No, but the tradition we had, Jess, is Mom wouldn't put baby Jesus out until Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So he was never with the manger scene the whole time the Christmas season until Christmas morning.
Which doesn't make much
Joe.
sense if you think about it, because what was everybody else doing there before him?
Waiting.
I mean, he wasn't white either, so I mean,
I'm just
What?
saying. I'm just saying tradition.
It wasn't green.
Okay, well, if we want to be completely accurate, the wise men didn't show up at the manger either. They showed up at a house 2 years later.
right? That's what I'm just saying.
So-
Let's not start nitpicking this stuff. It's
And they
it's-
weren't
no.
wise men, they were wizards.
Yeah, wizards.
And I'm sure Jesus wasn't born with a golden halo. So
It
Fix
was
this erectable.
All right,
Harry-
so
saying.
enough of your
Dumbledore
heresy.
and Voldemort.
Enough of your heresy.
Pelagian.
Okay,
You
speaking
can't
of
see
which,
my hair. It's under my
traditions.
hat.
I got a question for you guys. Joe, we still do that same thing. We don't put Jesus out and then everybody sings happy birthday. Then we tear open the gifts. But we didn't put the tree up early in December, did we, guys? Didn't we sometimes put it up like the week or a couple days before Christmas? I remember in New Cumberland, sometimes we didn't decorate it till like days before Christmas. Or is that just in my head?
Well, when we were real little, Ed, Mom and Dad used to decorate it after we went to bed on Christmas Eve.
Right. We didn't have it out all month, right?
Right.
Am I right in that?
Right.
Okay.
No, it was well, they didn't really start selling Christmas trees till like the first week of December back then. And so we would probably wait a couple weeks till the prices went down and then got ours and put it up. And I remember one year we went out in the woods with the Daniel family and we cut one down. So we did that at least once. But no, it was not all month.
Yeah.
It didn't go up the week, after Thanksgiving or anything.
Yeah, because I remember it was like when we'd get out of school, like towards the end of whenever school would get out, it was only up a few days before Christmas, and then it would go out after New Year's. But we do the manger thing. One of the things that I didn't realize, it's funny when you have kids, you don't realize you're starting a tradition until you've done it 2 or 3 times, and then they're like, "Hey, it's tradition." So I give an ornament each year to the kids and Lori. On Christmas Eve, they get, just before they go to bed, they all get a new ornament each year. So I sent you guys all ornaments this year. So you guys got yours early. Gene, did you get yours?
Yeah, it's up on the tree. It's Darth
Okay.
Vader, and I have it near my Death Star and the Imperial destroyer.
Excellent. Because they put Joe's note in Jesse's box, and Joe's. I called Dawn by a different last name. So I'm pretty sure I was hammered when I went to UPS, or the guy put boxing, everything was hammered. But yeah, I'm still holding out for the next trilogy of Star Wars movies that Darth Vader's actually the good guy, that the Empire was really good, the Rebels were bad.
So you're waiting for the How I Met Your Mother retelling of the Karate Kid for Star Wars.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Just one of the other things I remember doing is we were never allowed to listen to Christmas music, or at least I don't remember starting Christmas music until my birthday, the 1st of December.
Okay.
And we always had the.
I also remember we weren't allowed to celebrate your birthday until you were like 10 because we just didn't like you.
That's very possible. But one of the first albums that which I have these were the Herb Alpert Tijuana Brass Band Christmas
Brass
album.
band.
And then I think there was a Johnny Mathis one too that Mom would always play.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing on the cover with skis and it's all snowy behind him.
Yep.
I remember.
I actually
those.
have both of those.
And Johnny Cash, Christmas.
Johnny Cash.
Don't remember
one?
that.
And then there was a Gulf gas station one, Gene, that had a bunch of different artists on it. Do you remember that one?
It's a Shell
it's not
gas station, Ed. I've got that too.
Shell gas station.
There's a sampler. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember.
But
this would have been obviously in the 80s, but Mama had one. Joe, I don't know if you have these. Was it Evie or Evie?
Please don't.
No.
No.
What?
No.
I don't have
I'm
it.
not allowed to
Oh,
talk
now I
about
gotta
my
go back
Christmas
to
memories.
therapy.
I don't have it.
Freaking
But I remember
A.
that being on like replay all the time. And I think I purposely did not take that album when Mom was handing them out.
You should have broke it.
Sorry, Mom. It's a fond memory for me if you're watching this.
Well, we had
That was like
one of the foster kids. One of the foster kids had that on like perpetual play. Drove us crazy.
that was the Mariah Carey song of its day, I guess, to put it into perspective.
Only in the Christian circle. That never got played anywhere other than Christian homes. That was not
Okay.
played on
Maybe just in our house.
airwaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our house, we bought the only album ever. But Joe,
How about you,
Joe
Don?
probably doesn't remember. Gene, I remember
No.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer would always play on December 1st. And so on your birthday, I remember watching Rudolph on your birthday.
Oh, the show, the movie.
Oh yeah, the
Rankin
show.
Yeah.
Ass. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being on my birthday, but I remember when we had, because we just had regular, we didn't have cable or anything, but that's when they actually aired all of those, like The Year Without a Santa Claus is Coming to Town,
That was
the
my
Frosty
favorite.
cartoon, Rudolph, The Grinch, Charlie Brown. That was like,
Gene and I actually remember when they used to air the Drummer Boy. We
Yep.
have that one.
mhm,
Year
the
Without a
same
Santa
company
Claus.
that had the same stop animation.
Yeah.
people, where they hid the bells and made them look like big sand mounds. Wasn't that one? Where's that with the Nestor the long-eared donkey one?
That's Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey.
Okay.
Yeah, no. The Little Drummer Boy is where there was violence and the parents got killed. And they ended up deleting that scene out then after a couple of years of airing it.
Oh,
Oh,
I
so
don't
it's like a
They got-
Disney
remember
movie.
that. That's probably why
Thieves
I don't
came
watch
in and
that
killed
one
them.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the Little Drummer Boy is like, I hate all people. I just watched it. So
How about you, Don? Traditions
For
or
music?
things.
Oh, stockings. We used to always get our
Yeah.
stockings hung on the doors. And so in the
Mhm.
morning we'd get up and we'd sneak into each other's rooms because we weren't allowed to wake up mom and dad. We opened up our stockings. And then,
Mom would
we were upstairs. So I'd go with Joey and Jesse and then we would sneak up or down to Gene and Ed, or they'd sneak up to us real quiet and we'd all share what we got.
and I
And
remember
Nana
Mom.
always got us Lifesaver books. Remember the books of
Ugh.
Lifesavers? And I continued
Oh,
that
yeah.
with Tara and Tyler, but they don't make them anymore. At least I haven't seen them, so I can't continue it with Mackenzie and Kevin. But yeah, every year
my
the
kids do the same thing with the stockings. They all gather together. They all look at each other's stuff. Then they come down and wake Lori and up. Lori and I up still.
I would always remember Mom would stick it on the post of the bed for us. Stick the stocking on the post of the bed, like the bedpost, instead of the doorknob. She'd come into the bedroom and hang the stocking on the bedpost, and I'd get up at like 2 a.m. by myself, go in the bathroom, open them all up, open up all my stuff, and then put it back in and go back to sleep.
I remember one year you must have woken me up at like 4 o'clock, Joe. Gene, it's time to open our stockings. I'm like, go back to bed. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Stockings have
Well, Curtis is on a
always
tirade
been my
over
favorite
there.
part
Always.
of Christmas.
So I
Yeah,
tried to do that. I tried to do that with our family, and it just never. Kids would never wake up, so it was like, what's the point?
Wow.
What about you, Gene? What about any traditions that you remember or that you remember and carried on?
I think, the I tried to do the stocking thing, and that didn't work. And then I just always remembered how, like, as soon as Christmas was over, there would be sort of like this letdown afterwards. So for a couple of years with my kids when they were little, I would do like the 12 days of Christmas, and we would drag out opening up the gifts over the 12 days. And that lasted for a couple of years, and then they didn't want to wait anymore. So probably from our childhood, I just have sort of made the Christmas cookies and things that Nana used to make. And so for me, it's probably been more that than anything else. And then, of course, we've made Christmas traditions of our own growing up. not growing up, but I mean, once Alicia and I got together, we have some things that are traditional, and we don't necessarily do them every year, but they've been pretty regular with us. So growing up, I think we always had a turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I'm not a huge turkey fan, so having two big turkey meals that close together was never all that exciting for me as an adult. So we've gone with the standing rib roast and Yorkshire pudding type Christmas dinner. So, yeah.
Cool.
We
Do you
do ham
remember-
loaf.
Ham loaf? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
a
remember
tradition
how-
in Lori's family. I don't know. Go ahead.
No. Sorry. I thought you were making a joke. Go ahead.
No, it's ham loaf. You take ham and you like grind it just like ground beef, and you form it in big pans, like cake pans, and it's ham loaf. And then you have gravy on it. It's almost like meatloaf, but it's ham. And I don't know if they got it when they lived in Alabama or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but we have it every Christmas day, ham loaf, and then all the other fixings that would normally go with a turkey. And I think when I first moved down, they would have turkey and ham loaf, but then our family moved away from, like Gene said, we just had turkey at Thanksgiving, so we do the ham loaf.
Okay. I don't do this because of the apartment I'm in. I can't really tape stuff to the wood, but I remember didn't we do, or was it around the big, not archway, but the big opening into the family room at Cedar Cliff Drive? Didn't we tape the Christmas cards all the way around the
Mom would do
the,
that. Yeah.
the molding?
Mm-hmm.
All along the
Yeah.
stair rail, all around the doors. Yep.
Yeah.
I did that.
We do
in
something
my house.
similar, but it's like pretty little card holders that you stick them in. We have two of those that sit on either side of this piece of artwork, and then we just put the cards in there each time instead of taping them all over. But yeah, that's for Mom.
Yeah, I remember I know Mom would talk about how her tree, like that was a big surprise for them as kids, was the tree being up Christmas morning. Like that was a huge thing. I didn't realize that was part of the deal for you guys early on too.
Yeah, when we were real little.
Yeah.
I'd always love when was it the day after Christmas we'd usually go. If Nana and Grandpa didn't come, we'd go visit them in what was it, Nutley?
Yep.
Yeah.
It may not have been the next day, but while we were on break, we would go visit them. And one of the other things I remember doing as a family, I don't know, when we all got bigger, it was harder to do, but we'd all go driving around New Cumberland and Camp Hill looking at Christmas lights and all the Christmas decorations. And I remember doing that with Ed when Christy and I were in Florida. We did that with Ed and Lori. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
We went in a convertible, and I think Cole was just a little bitty, and he rode along with us as well. So I remember that.
Yeah. It was before we had rides. It was when I worked at Enterprise, and I could take home whatever car at the end of the day. So I took home a Camaro convertible so we could drive around and look at the lights down in Bradenton. That's right. Yeah, we still do that. We did that in Celebration the other day and went in to drive around and look at the lights. But do you guys remember, Gene and Dawn, when we had those big vans on Oak Lane when there'd be all the foster kids, we'd all pile in? Do you remember us having Christmas Carol books that we would sing Christmas carols in the car in the winter, like near Christmas, driving around?
And Mom would do the
Yeah,
big
we used to go. Go ahead, Dawn.
Well, we had the big pot of hot chocolate, so when we came back, we'd have hot chocolate and cookies with everyone that came out.
Yeah, we
And
did it.
But I mean,
with,
like we would also sing in the car.
Well, yeah. So two things. We with the scout troop, we went Christmas caroling, and that's what Dawn was saying. We would come back, we would have like a little Christmas party with cookies and hot chocolate and stuff. But yeah, we sang at Christmas time. We sang Christmas carols in the car going to church. But then every Sunday we sang on the way to church too. So that was just at Christmas time we sang Christmas carols.
Which must have been horrible because I don't think any of us, well, I know I have no singing talent whatsoever. So that was, we weren't becoming the Von Trapp family.
No,
I know what you're
More
talking
like the Von
about.
Crap family.
I had a new wave grunge folk punk band when I was in college. We were called Flayed Spaniel. We were real big in Europe.
Like height wise, like
I'm-
there was somewhere really tall.
No,
How do we not know about this?
you weren't in Europe.
There's a movie reference, I think, right?
Pictures or it didn't happen.
I think it's just a lie.
You sit on the throne of
Wait,
lies.
You sit on the throne of lies. You smell like beef and cheese.
I'm sitting in a regular chair. What are you talking about? It's just a regular chair.
It's a throne of lies. You're an angry elf.
Call me Alf one more time.
Oh, he's an angry elf.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
but
That's it.
we got a musical
Ooh,
talent
guys
for
remember-
Dad.
South Pole.
Remember? They would turn off the microphone for Dad when he sang in the choir, or so he always claimed.
Yeah, he
No,
would
that's
say that,
probably
but then even after him at Darla, they still let him in the choir. So he must have been not that bad.
No, he must. Yeah,
I mean, unless
You guys
they just
remember-
like the fact that he wanted to be in it.
Do you guys remember going to Hillside Elementary and sliding down that humongous hill?
yes.
That's a hard
And
no.
wear bags on your feet to keep them from getting wet.
Yeah, we put the bread
Yeah, no,
bags
I
over our
remember that.
feet.
Yeah, we made
Yeah.
sleds out of paneling.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
We made a toboggan.
But Gene, do you remember the more like the rosebud sled with the metal blades on it in Franklintown? That big hill. Well, the hills
flexible
point down to
flyer,
Stanley's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did on that. And sometimes if it was icy, you'd go, man, you'd take off on that thing.
Yeah, that
And that
was
had the little steering. You could either sit on it, lay down on it, and steer
Right.
with your hands or with your feet if there was 2 or 3 people on it.
yeah, that was that would have been like 73 and 74. We had some really
Yeah.
big winners those years, and that was a pretty serious hill.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
little kids, that was a serious hill.
Yeah.
We also had the hill at Cedar Cliff too when we were actually on Cedar Cliff Drive. That wasn't as big as Hillside, but it was the one that went down towards the tennis court. So if it got super icy, you'd always have to stop
Oh.
before you slammed into the fence.
Yeah. So you didn't
I
get
was going
run
to say,
over.
our driveway would have been perfect, except you'd die if you got to the end of our driveway on Cedar Cliff Drive.
Yeah.
Because everybody kept cutting through.
do you guys remember when I took the sled through that little like garden thing in the backyard?
Oh yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, Cedar Cliff
I
Drive,
do.
the little stone, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
I
were
don't-
two.
I
Where
don't know.
mom would put her geraniums and
There was 2
her
of
other perennials. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, you mean the 3-tiered thing?
yeah.
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 I must have missed that one.
That's
I
what we
didn't.
used.
Yeah, but Ed,
It's what we
I
used as
kept
the front
stuck right in the
door.
bushes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
a
probably
great
my favorite
school.
house.
My
It's a good
favorite
house.
house was Oak Lane.
had the laundry
And then-
chute. That's fun.
Well, Oak Lane, because Gene and I had, man, I wish we lived there as we got older. That upstairs, I don't know how tall those ceilings were, but that upstairs attic that Gene and I stayed in after whoever was living up there was done was awesome. But that house was great. The full basement, first floor, second floor, then the full finished attic, the laundry chute, the coal chute, the ramp coming out,
Yep.
the driveway that connected both streets. That place was
Yep.
amazing.
It was awesome.
Wait,
You guys
Oak
remember
Lane
playing-
had the driveway that connected both streets too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They both did.
And just think, Jess, you were conceived in that house. That's where mom and dad said, let's make another one.
Okay,
So good times for you.
so it
That little
was mom
sperm
and
and
dad.
that little egg got together and said, woohoo!
All right, so you just blew the whole milkman story. So thank you.
No, that's me.
I said
No.
your dad. I didn't say my dad. I said dad and mom, referring to your dad.
That's I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, it is. It's a dad and a mom and they get
All right,
together with
well,
the little
moving
bulbous
on.
tingly
If I
areas.
disappear, it's not because I'm tired of Ed, it's because my battery's dying.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Favorite Christmas movies?
Lion in Winter.
Cue silence and crickets. Moving on. Next.
Oh no, we all got one, right? I
Yeah,
like
I'm
Elf.
just. I have too many to think of.
Just name one.
It happened on
Die
Fifth
Hard.
Avenue.
Die Hard.
Okay.
Family Stone.
That's a good one.
Fred Claus.
Violent Night.
A Wish for Wings That Work.
Good one, Jess. Albatross.
She left me for an albatross.
No, I'm not. I'm a rhinoceros.
Oh my!
I can tell you what it's not. It's not a Hallmark one. None of those Hallmark ones.
Yeah, thank you, Dawn. I love you for that. That you're not a Hallmark. Oh, I got to get my Hallmark blankets out and sit down and watch
Nope.
this
Like
drivel.
Hallmark.
No,
Hallmark
it's in,
movies are like all. It's just the same Mad Lib that they
it doesn't
put
matter
in
if it's
different
Christmas,
adjectives.
Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Arbor Day.
My list. If when it comes to Christmas, like the real thing, the Nativity with Oscar Isaacs, I love that. That's my favorite biblical Christmas time one. Elf is probably a favorite comedy along with the Christmas Story. Have to watch that at least once or twice every year. And then when it comes to the Rankin Bass ones, it's The Year Without Santa Claus with Heat Miser and Freeze Miser.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then when it comes to the modern ones, there's a bunch of them. Almost Christmas with Danny Glover. It's an all black cast. I love that movie.
I would say for
Last Christmas was good.
Yeah, Last Christmas. I just watched that today.
for classics, I like a whole bunch of them, but my top three classic ones would be It Happened on Fifth Avenue, White Christmas, and the one with Jimmy Stewart. I can't think of it
The
right
Wonderful
now.
Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life. And for the Rankin
Anybody ever
Bass
tell
ones,
you you're an old soul?
no, I probably am, but the Rankin Bass ones, I like the same one Ed said with Heat and Snow Miser. But then the one where they talk about how Santa Claus came to be, like he went and he develops the toys.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
And then for new ones, I'm with Dawn. I like Elf. But then this is a newer one, but Scrooge with George C. Scott. The Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. Scrooge.
Cartoon-wise, little half-hour cartoons. The original Grinch is my favorite little cartoon one for Christmas.
Did you ever see the one they did with tied to that? It was a TNT special with Phil Hartman talking about how they made the Grinch.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, if you can find that's great. It's only about 25 minutes long, but it was one of the last things he did before he died. But it's hilarious. Just he does different voices to the Grinch instead of Boris Karloff and stuff. It's really funny.
Oh, and then there was the Star Wars
I'll have
Christmas
to look
special.
for that. Which all those actors try to disavow and say it doesn't exist.
Oh,
It's
it
out
does. It does.
I've only watched that with was it the Riff Tracks or whatever, like the guys that do
Oh,
the Mystery Science Theater. So it was
Yeah.
like a recording.
Mm.
So it's got like all the commercials still in it. It's so
Donnie and Marie
painful.
were on that, I think. So there's so many different things.
Has anybody seen the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special this year?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
that's
great.
actually
No.
funny.
That's really good.
That's worth it. That's worth it. It's only like a half hour, right? Half hour, 40 minutes.
I think it was like 45
Not
minutes.
long.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like the claymation Christmas one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's another all-time favorite. Except for Joy to the World.
Yeah, that's still yeah. The song itself is good, just the
Yeah.
animation.
It's too artistic. Artistic, Ed. Artistic.
Artistic. Today's
Yes.
episode is sponsored by the letter R. Artistic.
And the number 8.
Was 5. Gene counted to 5 earlier. So today we're sponsored by the number 5 and the letter R.
Wait, why did he count to 5 earlier?
He
I'm
was
not
counting
sure I
how
know
many
how
new
to count
masks he had.
five.
I saw him count on the way.
Oh.
He said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 5 new masks. See, I pay
That's
attention.
right. I don't like numbers.
Okay.
Favorite Christmas songs?
I
I
heard
will
the
accept
Christmas-
Baby
In the
It's
bleak
Cold
midwinter.
Outside, even though it's technically not a Christmas song.
In the bleak midwinter.
Yeah.
Don't think I know that one.
I have
Google
two.
My favorite one is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town live version. I love that. I like U2's Christmas Baby. And then where's the other one I like? Can't remember. I always get the titles wrong. Somebody else go. Nope, not Bon
Oh, I
Jovi's
thought
Backdoor
Santa-
Santa. Not that one.
I liked classic Christmas song, Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, and The Holly and the Ivy.
I saw Santa kissing mommy. I don't know
No,
the
Christy
real
like-
likes I
Mama
Want a
Kissing Santa
Hippopotamus for
Claus?
Christmas. So
I want hippopotamus.
I like,
Mel
Well,
was
that's
it?
your problem.
I need my 2 front teeth for Christmas because she lost her
Oh, yeah.
2 front teeth.
Okay. I think my favorite is I really like the David Crowder Band's version of what was it? Oh, Come Emmanuel. Oh, did Joe disappear?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. There's a song that Dido does at Christmas. I always forget the title. It's kind of a folky song.
I don't think I've ever heard Dido's Christmas songs.
It's about like something came on a Christmas clear. This knight came along and saw me and said he'd come back, the next year and marry me. And it's this anyway. I like
Huh.
that one from a folky standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I like all Michael Bublé's Christmas album. Sugarland's Silver and Gold. I love their album.
Okay.
Hmm?
Well, I got to throw this up here real quick.
It's-
Since Dawn mentioned it earlier,
That
right?
was
Isn't that
been
the Easter?
Easter. Yeah, Easter.
It didn't happen then. That's at Cedar Cliff Drive. It happened at Oak Lane. If you're talking about the incident,
Oh,
a few years
the
before this.
incident was at Cedar Cliff Drive. But you gotta love the color of those suits, huh?
Yes.
everybody's in like bright spring colors except for me. It's like,
Yeah, you got your winter
Well, I'm in
stuff on.
brown.
but it's like a light brown. It's like classic M&M brown.
Oh yeah, that's our house and veranda.
There's Krampus.
Nice face, Joe. There's Krampus. Still getting Legos.
So are those
Jake with
Joe's or
Legos.
are those Jake's?
No, that's Jake's. He was probably sitting. He probably gave that. That was the year he was down. He probably gave that to Jake. I think it was Hobbit stuff. That's Downtown Celebration.
Yeah. I think that's it for the slides.
So Jess, here's I don't know if you remember this. This was your first Christmas present from me.
I
Oh,
remember.
wow.
I remember you making that.
Yep. Somehow mom got it back to me, but
That was in New Jersey.
yeah, but I had made it in the months leading up to it. Yep. So it was a
Oh,
story
my
that I
gosh, I
wrote for
forgot
you.
all about
Have you
that.
ever seen this? Do you remember this?
I do not remember that.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
have to bring it to you and show it to you next time I come up that way.
Yeah.
So
And he did the binding and everything for it. I'm
Wow.
impressed. Look at Well,
Oh,
held up.
that's
It's kind of
right.
falling apart. The E is gone out of the name here, but
Does
Okay.
it say Jesse's Triumph?
yeah, it's not about a motorcycle.
He
Is it
did
about a
whole
wonder
story
dog?
about-
No.
Okay.
It was a mouse, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard a thing. I've never read the book. Stuart Little is not a mouse. It was a man the size of a mouse. Is that correct?
He's a little boy that shrunk instead of grew, and he turned into a mouse,
Oh, he did turn into a mouse?
an anthropomorphic mouse.
Okay.
That means a man like Mousehead.
Which one does? Artistic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the book I had, Runaway Ralph? That's one book I remember reading from school. That was about a mouse and a motorcycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was
There
that,
was.
was that a
Yeah. It
was that a car or a motorcycle?
was a motorcycle.
Motorcycle. Runaway Ralph was like a red book cover with like yellow
And then the
writing on
second
it.
one
And,
was, and there were two books. There was one that was The Mouse and the Motorcycle came out afterwards.
okay. But I remember talking back about the books. Gene used to love it when Nana would give us books because he knew I would never read mine. So it was like he got second book.
Yeah.
And
But you read the Hardy
I would
Boys.
tell him, early. Yeah, the Hardy Boys I would read, and I'd try to ask him to wait, but he would read. He'd probably finish a Hardy Boy book in a day. Gene was just a ferocious reader, probably still is, but it would take me forever. So eventually, I just said, "No, go ahead, you can read it," and I'd let him read mine before. Runaway Ralph was inspired by a French spy. Oh, that's cool. I love that book. That was probably one of the only books as a kid that I read multiple times.
Wonder, did Joe say something or did he just disappear?
He
I
said
think Ed
his
said
he's having
something.
computer problems.
Oh, okay.
He's having bowel problems. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that probably too.
My battery's running low, and we're, I guess, coming up on 10. So
Yep.
if I disappear,
Okay.
Merry Christmas and thanks for hosting, Jess.
No, thanks for joining
Oh,
us.
that'll be the nicest present you give us.
I'll just say
Okay,
this: if anybody's
I'll go get my cord and plug it in.
if anybody
Me and my big
watching
mouth.
has any questions, feel free to fire out some questions for the family in the last couple minutes here. But
Oh, can I fire questions away at Dawn?
no.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, are you
Um,
going to ask me about the third baseman?
Am I going to talk about the rape basement? What'd you say?
Third
No.
base.
No, Ed, stop. Third baseman.
I met the Astros third baseman.
I don't know how many guys got to third base with you in the driveway, Dawn. I lost track, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Wow.
Hey, Astros.
There's the pizza guy. There was the donut guy.
So what do you guys think of your
Common
Mythic
trash.
Legions figures? Yeah, let's do that.
I can't show you. I've got mine out next to my full armor of God plaque that I have on my shelf next to Tyrion and the redheaded bearded guy from on the other side of the wall. And then I've got my other knightly type picture. So I love it. It's I mean, obviously I don't have a collection anything like yours, but if I was going to get one, the black is perfect with the red. But it reminds me right next to the full armor of God because it's got the full helmet and breastplate and all that stuff. So it's
Very
sitting
cool.
right here at my office, like where I can see it every day. So I love it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Kevin's been trying to convince me to open her so that he can play with the swords because he's obsessed with swords right now.
Okay.
Oh, send him up here for a week.
Oh, he would love it. Yeah, he's totally obsessed. He has a pirate sword that he sticks down his shirt and he pulls it out. And yeah,
That's
found
cool.
every
Hey, was
day
that
he
true? Spiderface. Hey, Spiderface 101. Is it really David Crowder's house in that Guardian special that you're talking about? I mean, it was a cool looking house, but was that really the house that was Kevin Bacon's, or are you just making that up because somebody said David Crowder?
Huh.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Spiderface. Yeah, hit us up with that. Gene, I wanted to show you these
That's
real quick.
cool.
because I know you like these were new helmets that came in a Father Christmas figure they did recently.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought you'd appreciate the more
Yep.
realistic look.
That's a
And
bassinet
that-
with a pig face or a hound skull face on it.
And
Move it to the side. That was
I
a
see that.
Celette. That's a Celette with a bever. Yep.
okay. So I just thought you'd appreciate those. They have a line called Figure Obscura, which is they're kind of like folklore and like holiday based. So they did a Krampus, they did a Headless Horseman, and now a Father Christmas instead of Santa Claus. And somewhere in the comments, everybody's referring to those helmets as the silver bells now because like they were hidden inside. He comes with like a cloth bag with like gifts in it, and those were like a surprise for everybody.
Yeah. My Black Knight had a different helmet as well, other than the one with the red plume. It's got the, what's it called, Gene? When it's got that little pointy thing at the top?
Well,
It
I
almost
don't.
looks more like an old.
That's anachronistic. That looks like a pickle helm from the World War I. But I think that's an
But then
Armet.
it's got the,
I think it's an
it's
Armet
got the
helm.
shield in the front.
Helm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's cool too.
So you can swap those out, Ed. That point will come out and
Yeah.
fit in the same spot as the plume if you wanted to swap them.
Right.
And Gene, I think I know you're not that worried about these because it is a fictitious world, so it's not like, even though yours is a Templar, it's the cross on it is supposed to be symbolic of the sword of they call it the Heavens Brand sword, which is the faction that he comes from. It's their, each of the four good factions, they have kind of like a thing called the Great Beast. So Etheron's the Order of Etheron is kind of the Templar faction. So that's the sword, it's where that came from. Did you open her up, Dawn?
Yeah, I was working on it.
So she's the queen of my favorite group, Xylona's flock. They're kind of like all the creatures and like the elves and all of that stuff. They didn't have any. There are no more like there was no generic female character like the knights and the dwarf I got for the guys.
Right.
So I was like, cool. That just is better to get you a cooler looking figure. We got. Oh, is that a Playmobil?
This one is, yeah.
And the I have the white version of that Krampus pop
That
with the
was
little
another
kid
thing
in
you
the basket.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a kid in the basket? That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that
Mine,
one.
the kid is because it's white. The kid is like frozen. Be careful if you move her arms and stuff, especially like the elbows. Look and see which way they point. Because if you just
Okay.
try to bend it straight up, they're usually turned in a little bit. And if it's been in the house and it's warm, you're in Texas, it's probably not too cold there.
Yeah, it's going to be 17 on in a couple of days. It's getting cold,
Okay.
but be careful.
Yeah, because yeah.
I'll fix it for
But-
you.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you
remember
will.
that. Remember rule number 1.
Don't trust the
let it-
older sibling. If something happens to it, Don, let me know. We'll get you fixed up.
Okay.
Yeah, and other than opening the little bags, you can put all of that back in there if you ever wanted to put it back together. But so we're gonna ignore Danny's question about the mayonnaise and answer Alexander's question. Which of you will be diving into Mythic Legion's full force after this?
Well, why does she have wings?
Because she's a fairy elf.
Okay.
So she can fly, Dawn.
So they did an earlier version of her where she's got bigger wings. When they're spread out, they look more like butterfly wings. They're still that same kind of translucent color. But yeah, yeah.
To answer the question, I don't know if I'll be going into full force, but Jake has been playing some D&D, and I know sometimes they've got, if I can find one in one of his characters, if he's doing a campaign, that looks similar to what he's have. I know he'd probably appreciate something like that. So I might get one for
They
him at
are.
some point.
They have shown some prototypes of D&D mini size versions of their figures coming. So I don't know if they're developing a game or just a set of minis to go with the games. So
Gotcha. Because he's really into Critical Role and
okay.
all of that right now.
Yeah,
Last
Awesome.
Julian's
year.
into that too. Ed. But I won't be.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the Mythic Legends figure, but I got too many other collections going on, so
Yeah.
probably not me.
Yeah, I didn't figure any of you would be diving in head first into these, but I wanted to make sure you guys all had a little something.
Right now, it's Minecraft.
The figures that Minecraft.
Yeah.
The closest thing I have, Jess, are the McFarlane figures I had that were on the top of my shelf. I don't know if I got a good picture of them. They're the sports figures that are already posed.
Ones.
You can't bend them. But I've got a bunch of the Yankees and Steelers, and then for the boys, I bought some iconic ones of different, historical, not historical, but like older players like Johnny Unitas or Babe Ruth or whoever they did. So
this is his sword.
Oh,
He
nice.
usually texts it right in his shirt. Walks around and challenges us.
Awesome. Yeah, the Four Horsemen Studios, the guys who make the Mythic Legions figures, they used to work for McFarlane. Looks like we lost Gene.
Oh, see, Minecraft right now.
Yeah, I recognize those from Minecraft. Yes.
Yep. We're all about Minecraft right now.
What is that? Is that a bow and arrow?
Yeah, this is a bow and arrow, and it shoots.
Oh, okay.
And then the crossbow.
Nice.
That's the crossbow.
And it's pretty cool. They go around shooting whoever they can in the butt. So that's
Tell Carlo.
Awesome.
Tell Carlo I don't hit the joints anymore, but I always heated mine.
Yes. Okay. You're not a her, are you, Ed?
No, I'm just saying about me.
Okay.
I did. I always lit them.
That's what she said.
Oh boy.
Yeah, woo! Office reference number 2.
So yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll be careful. It's cold in the house right now.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, just let me know. But yeah, I thought she's really cool. She's one of my favorite figures.
Once you get an idea of the way the arms do move, it's not that hard and it's not that fragile. It's just if you aren't paying attention.
Yeah, it's just the initial articulation. I mean, you can. I mean,
this is really cool.
So that's each of the leaders of the good guy factions have a weapon that's kind of attached to the great beast that their group is named after. So that's the silver cord, and their families have taken on the name. So it'd be like, instead of like House Lannister, it'd be like House whatever the name of the lion sword was, because
Is that like antlers made into that bow? That's cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the great beast for Zylona's flock is an elder frost deer, and she's kind of just like
it's as big
like
as
a minotaur,
her.
but it's a deer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
cool.
since she's the leader of the group, she has that bow that is named after them.
I got to tell you, the ones that I saw at your place and that you've shown me, just they're amazing. The detail on them, and for people that are mine just is unfortunately more of a sports world.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
They are so cool looking and so detailed that I know. They're very classy looking. I mean, they look, looking at a lot of the different. Go ahead, Jess.
Okay, yeah. Now that was
very nice.
a show you just went to, right?
Yeah, this is in August I went to PowerCon in Ohio, and my friend Brian that I went with, he had this like scanner thing that he scanned my head. So I was able to pick it up at the show from him in November, and I just finished painting it up and put that figure together. It's a little weird to have my head on a toy, but it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
you-
Curtis, all in on Ed, the golden child. Ed is staying to the end. Go all
Well,
in.
at this point, we'll stay as long as you guys want, but we have hit 2 hours. We've kind of hit all the topics I was hoping we would hit, and I've had a lot of fun. Oh,
That figure that you had, was it real material for his cape?
yeah,
For one of
it
you?
came from a different figure,
Okay.
but I wasn't
It
using
almost
it
looks
on
like
that.
real, like it almost looks like faux leather on the front as well, not just plastic.
Oh
like
no,
on his
that's
breastplates and
just
stuff.
it's just painted really nice. It's one of the newer one of the
Okay.
newer figures. They
Yeah, I mean it's very well detailed.
yeah, like there's some of them that just depending on the way they paint it, it might still be the same metal armor as like the knight one that you have, but if they do the paint in the right way and it dries and it has more of that
Yeah.
flatter, like it might just look like stretched leather with like
Yeah.
detailing on it, you know. But yeah,
That's awesome.
but I just want to say thank you to all of you. I know Gene and Joe have popped out, but thank you all for joining me. This was a lot. I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and this was a lot of fun. It was really fun
We
to do
didn't
this
tell the
with you.
story about my Easter.
Your Easter?
We didn't share the
Oh.
Easter incident.
Well,
we'll have to do an Easter one.
Oh, Easter Mythic Legion figures of Jesus and the disciples. I don't know if they've
Well-
gone that route yet.
no. One of the guys that works for Four Horsemen, Chris, he's the guy who works with the factory and like sends all the stuff to them. He's actually working on a line of biblical figures.
See, I had that idea for Funko Pops. They could do so many and sell them the Christmas. You could have Moses in the golden bush. You could
Yeah.
have Jesus
I
and the
don't think
12
that's that.
disciples.
I don't think that's the right
You
story.
could have Moses in the burning bush. Did I say golden?
Yeah.
Aaron in the golden
Yeah.
calf, Moses in the burning bush. You could have Samson and Goliath. You could have the really
Sure.
big one. I mean, David and Goliath. I'm getting all my biblical figures mixed up. David and Goliath. You could have Samson and Delilah. You could have so many Funko
David
Pops.
and Goliath.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And there's enough
So-
nerds in the Christian world too. We'd buy them all. You get the naked Adam and Eve, and then you get the ones with the leaves. You get
Oh yeah.
and then you can get the ones with the actual clothes on. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm telling you.
All right. Golden Bush was Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah. Too many Percy Jackson things going on in this house.
More of a murky. Let's not go there.
Yeah, maybe next time I
Uh-huh.
will chat.
Next time, what?
We'll know how to add to the chat because I see all the comments. I just don't know how to respond to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it lets us when we're on respond. When I was on watching Jesse before, I was able to comment. And
Well,
talk
because
with
you were
people in
watching
the
on
comments.
YouTube and you could interact in the
Yeah.
chat. Since you're here,
Yeah.
I
Right.
can interact
You
with it,
can.
but yeah, I don't think you can.
Yeah,
You
we
can
can't.
see them though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we can see
Yeah.
them all. And like in private
Okay.
chat, I can see Joe.
I think it's just
commenting a little bit.
because I think it's just because you're not like a manager of the page.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it makes
So-
sense.
All right. Well, I'll let you
It's a lot
guys
of
sign off and get to bed or do whatever it is you got to do this evening. Thank you so much for joining me, Joe and Gene. Thank you guys for being here as well. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. If you guys want to hang on one second, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Or if you need to get going, that's cool. But I'm going to bump you out unless you have
All right.
anything
Yeah,
else you want to
goodbye,
say to
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks for allowing
Night,
us into your
everyone.
world for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on a sec, guys. I'll be right with you. Everybody, thank you so much for joining my siblings and I tonight as we did our kind of like rundown memory lane with all of our Christmas and toys and all that stuff and all the shenanigans and whatnot that that followed. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate all of you for joining and watching and commenting tonight. Or for those of you who watch this on the replay, thank you for tuning in there. Next 2 weekends will be a little weird because it is Christmas Day and New Year's Day, but I will be doing a little something both of those days just to keep some stuff going. And I'll be back in January with a special guest, and my new co-host will be back. Curtis Ackerman will be helping me run the show as we go into next year. So thank you all so much for joining tonight. Hope you have a great holiday week, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or whatever of the other holidays that are all happening right now. For me and my family, we say Merry Christmas to you, and for whatever holidays you celebrate, enjoy those. So thank you very much. I'll catch you guys next time. And until then, what's on your shelf?